All right, so welcome back to the Keaton Taylor podcast. We got two shorter freshmen with us today. We'll do a couple episodes here and there, but we wanted to do some shorter freshmen, and then we'll get into the junior seniors later.
Yeah.
Lawson, Aiden, go ahead and introduce yourselves real quick. Tell us a little bit about yourselves.
So I'm Lawson Stevens. I'm a freshman from Norcross, Georgia. I play basketball here. Yeah, that's about it. I'm an accounting major.
My name's Aiden Nemat. I also play basketball here. I'm from Kennesaw, Georgia. I went to a small private school, and then I ended up playing basketball here at Shorter. I'm a freshman, so my major is general business, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice. Perfect. How do you want to start this one?
I'll start it out. So, okay, what brought you guys to Shorter and the basketball program?
I just I visited a lot of schools.
That ended up happening,
in
and
my process.
I ended up still being here, and I ended up being on
every school I
basketball
visited, I
team.
wasn't sure that I want to go there for
They gave me a chance.
the school and the
So,
basketball aspect, but I really liked the
taking.
Shorter's campus and the way Coach Anderson and Coach Savage treated me, and the way they still treat me. So.
All right, so...
Yeah. Kind of like how he was. I got a lot of JUCO offers coming out of high school, a lot of NAIs too.
Another player.
And the schooling is nice, but I want to see if I can play somewhere a little bit bigger. And I like Shorter's environment. I like the guys. My uncle was the lacrosse coach at the time before he left.
I'd say the first thing that comes off.
So he was telling me, hey, like, I almost like make it a family thing. We're trying to get my cousin to come too and play lacrosse at Shorter as well. So it would be like a whole family school thing, but that ended up happening. And I ended up still being here, and I ended up being on the basketball team. Coach Anderson gave me a call.
Like each other. If you don't like each other, you're not going to
games. How do y'all build chemistry on and off the field? I know there's kind of like a divide there, but like the guys that you do hang out with, how do y'all build chemistry on and off the field?
I'd say the first thing that comes off to my head, because you spend so much time, like especially when you get to college compared to your high school playing, it's so much time put into the sport, like watching film, practicing, road trips. So you get a lot of time with the guys, and you really build a family really quickly. So it's really important to be like for everyone to like each other, because if you don't like each other, you're not going to games.
That's the biggest thing. Yeah.
Simple as that. I'd say the biggest thing, honestly, the guys do is like video games is a very easy one.
Yeah.
You can sit in your own dorm and still be on the phone with all the guys and trash talking and wait. Yeah. So that's the biggest one for me, personally.
Yeah, I would say video games is a big one, but also just like, I mean, if you go to a smaller school in college, I mean, you guys are around each other 24/7.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I wanted to get away from them, I couldn't. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where it's like, especially if you stay in dorms which are close together. I mean, the older guys' dorms are right down the street. We take them to their dorms. They take us to our dorms. Yeah. It's like, you play games with each other. Plus, like you said, was like how much time you actually spend, like, hanging out together is like unbelievably different than high school. Because in high school, you hang out with people who are like, they're freshmen or they're young, they can't drive. You have your 3 or 4 who you're friends with, and that's about it. But here it's like only friends I have besides, you guys and a few certain others, it's like just my basketball team. Yeah. So it's just one of those things where it's like you basically have your basketball team, and then that's the friend group.
Yeah. So you mentioned wanting to get away from Lawson, so do you want to get away from Lawson? Or?
I don't want to get away from school life, but I would love a different dorm. That's for sure.
Probably not helping the team chemistry at all here, am I?
It's okay. He wants to get away from me just as much as I want to get away from him.
So what NBA player do you guys model yourself after? Or who is your biggest inspiration?
I'll take this one first. The biggest one I get is Jokic. I don't know if Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets. I get that one a lot. I'm big who likes to pass. My dad's is a foreigner where he came over to America from Iran. So about that European style basketball where it's pass, cut, stuff like that. He kind of instilled it into me. So it's just like passing, kind of slower movement. Just not really athletic. Just try and get your shot off and just have fun with it. So I would say either that or maybe like y'all know who Sengun is from the Rockets. Yeah, he's kind of similar to that too. Yeah. So those are my 2 probably biggest ones.
All right, that's awesome.
For me, I get the one I get compared to a lot is probably Luka, just a little bit, because especially in high school, I play with a ton of pace, and like I'm not ever gonna be the guy that's gonna blow around you. Yeah. So I play with a lot of pace and be crafty around the basket and shooting floaters and threes and all kinds of different stuff. So I get a lot of Luka comparisons. Some people just compare me to a straight shooter sometimes, like a Joe Harris. Y'all know who Joe Harris is. Yeah. But I like Luka because I think I can do more than just shoot. So
yeah, those are some great players to compare yourself to. All right. So far, like, what has been?
I like the fist bump. We should start doing that every time we. Good question, Joey.
Hey, team chemistry.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, this is the first one we've done in person.
So this is how you build it off the court. Right?
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
All right. What has been? I know we've been in a couple games already this season, but even going back to high school before y'all came here, what's kind of like the best game or best moment in your guys' career right now? Even though y'all are freshmen, there might be a high school game.
Okay, so we're involved in high school too.
Yeah.
Can we do both? Can we do one for my Jordan and one for my school?
Perfect.
Okay. Trying to think. So one for I would say our first home game against that was the first scrimmage against I don't know, was it Gadsden or Pelisepi? Gadsden State. So we had a scrimmage that game, and I wasn't cleared for by the NCAA yet.
Yes.
My transcript hasn't been sent, so I was supposed to sit out the game. But like 5 minutes before the game, Anderson gets a call from the NCAA lady up front in the office at Shorter. He's like, "Hey, he's cleared." Like 5 minutes before because they close at 5. Keep this in mind. They close at 5 o'clock. Like the game's at like 5:15. So she calls him at 4:55, saying like, "Hey, he can play." So I'm like dressed out, helping them with warm ups. He called me and said, "Hey, to go." I go, "All right." I go grab my jersey on and then get ready for the scrimmage. That was awesome because I was gonna miss my first scrimmage as a college basketball player. So that was it was good to be able to play that one. We got a win, which is big. That's probably my best college one.
I'm gonna go college too.
Right.
For me, college moment. I feel like it's probably pretty generic, but the first points I scored, it was in a scrimmage, so it doesn't technically count. But we was running this play called circle where everyone's supposed to run and clear out to the side, and you catch it, and you're supposed to pass to the wing guy. So I was supposed to pass, but I didn't pass, so I just dribbled in straight in. I did not run the play right. My coach is over there like this. Then I shoot the floater I make, and he's like,
I think Coach Anderson wasn't happy about that.
But he sees a shotgun. It was good, but that was probably my scoring the first time. That was awesome. That was a great feeling. So
Those are pretty good moments.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so you guys have talked about it before, and I'm curious to see this one. But how does your team build and maintain chemistry both on and off the court?
I already asked that question.
Did he already ask that question?
Yeah.
He did.
I was testing you guys.
So how has playing for Christian University shaped your athletic experience?
I think we both went to Christian schools before in high school. So I think that, it's easily translatable, right? So if you go to a school who's not Christ founded and stuff like that, it might be a little bit more difficult to go into having Bible class and having chapel mandated and stuff like that. But for me, my school was stricter than Shorter was. We had uniform, we we prayed before every game.
Yeah.
We prayed after every game. You couldn't curse. It was stuff all different, stuff like that. And it makes it's almost like for me it's different than it was in high school. It's almost more free. So it's for me it's a big change. Yeah. It's just, that's for me.
I would say just like I've played on teams that are Christian based and teams that are not Christian based my whole life. I feel like the biggest difference is definitely in the leadership of the team, which is the coaching and their ability to be able to use Bible verses and use come from a godly view to use for basketball, which in my opinion helps me as a basketball player to have verses said to us before practice, to pray as a team. Yeah. And in my opinion, it builds brotherhood more than a team without that. So
no, I agree with that. And to touch on Aiden's, I actually went to Shiloh.
Did you really?
Yeah, I went there.
Oh, wow.
Elementary, middle school.
Oh, wow.
How did you not tell me that?
Well, I went to go tell you last night or the night before, but y'all already left.
Oh, man,
There
that's
was
awesome.
20 people there?
Who was your teacher? You remember who your teachers were? No? Okay.
Here and there. Like, if I pulled up the pictures, you probably know who they are.
Okay.
But when I saw Shiloh, I was talking with Jabari, and I'm like, why does that school sound so familiar? And I go back through my pictures. I was like, oh.
That's awesome.
I didn't go there through high school due to mission work, but
I went there. So I went because when I was at a public school all my life, and then when COVID hit, my parents didn't want me to do online school,
right?
So I went to a private school, which was 24. They were staying open, so I went there and just did my high school years there. I guess for the best.
So let's see. Y'all are still freshmen, but I like to ask this question to athletes: like, what do you have for kids that are still trying to play basketball and get into basketball, maybe elementary, middle, maybe even still in high school? What advice do y'all have for them as they try to, go into their careers?
So I'm very passionate about basketball. Obviously, you wouldn't be in this situation. I'm very passionate about kids playing. I actually spent this last summer working with elementary and middle school kids, coaching them up playing basketball all summer, and it got paid pretty well. So bonus there.
It's the mission.
But for those kids, and especially when you're learning to play, and like a lot of middle school kids at my camp and stuff are never going to even really be able to play high school basketball. It's just how competitive basketball is in general. It's just fundamental stuff. Being able to make layups, being able to dribble the ball without turning it over, being able to play defense. Like it's the basketball culture's kind of shifted a little bit this day, where people are you want to play like Steph Curry, you want to shoot threes. But I have kids in my camp, and I'm like, that's the only thing they can do. And I'm like, you got to be able to do everything else. When you go to your high school tryout next year, these 8th graders, you're going to have to be able to play defense. You're going to have to be able to make a left-handed layup, or you're not going to be able to play.
And it's like you have to learn. You can't just learn one tool. You have to know every single tool.
You have to know everything, and then
exactly.
To play at a good high school at a good level, you have to master one thing. So you got to be. If you're a really, really good shooter, your coach is going to play you because he knows he's going to hit shots. If you're a really, really good defender, coach is going to play you. So master one thing. If you're a really good ball handler, coach is going to need someone that can handle the ball and facilitate people. So mastering one thing and then not having any weaknesses.
Yeah, I'll say better to be a master of one than a master of none.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades is better than, or is not, what you want to be. You want to be able to do, specialize. Because at this level, right, our college team, anybody can play. Everybody can do everything, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you have to be able to specialize, what you can do, what your strength is, what your weakness is. And then basically the way coaches will play you is they'll play you on your strengths and have everyone else play on their strengths, and it'll be more uniform.
It's interesting coming from a basketball view, because I grew up in baseball, and baseball is more like you focus on, like y'all are saying, like baseball is more like you focus on everything. Like you have to be good at everything, and basketball is like, well, if you're a good shooter, you're gonna play. It doesn't matter if you can't handle the ball, you can still run a play, get open, shoot it, or like Jokic, he passes the ball. So
that's what I've learned playing for this long in my life, is that coaches are going to play kids that are really good at certain things. So
that makes sense. So where do you guys see yourselves in the next 5 years?
Next 5 years.
We can up it to 10 years. We can make it harder, easier if you guys want.
We'll do 5.
Yeah, I think 5 is good, right? Because 10 years, everyone's gonna say, "Oh, I want to have a family, I want to have kids, I want to have that."
Yeah.
But so 5 years. So I'm 18 right now. I'll be 23. I'll probably be, depending on.
He'll be out of college.
I'll be out of college, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, depending on your degree, you'll be a year out.
What happens, right? So, I would say as of right now, I just want to. Next 5 years, hopefully, I have a great, academic and basketball career. I want to say shorter all 4 years. That's the goal. I want to graduate from here. I want to do big things for the basketball program. I want to help them lead to a conference championship. Division II championship, everything like that. But hopefully I would say the biggest thing is hopefully I'm at peace and hopefully I'm happy. That's the biggest thing, you know what I mean? Because you can have all these accolades, you can have, all the money, you can have everything like that. But if you don't have peace, you don't have anything.
I
the
agree
biggest thing, if you can't buy peace.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the biggest thing I would say. Which is probably a boring answer.
No, that was a good answer, man. That was really good.
I mean, for me, 5 years from now, I feel like the goal is always to want to play basketball for the rest of my life. So whatever that's look like, if it's going to play somewhere overseas or wherever. If that doesn't work, just, get my degree finished out.
Yeah.
Start whatever job working, maybe coach. I don't know, whatever God has for me. I'm going to pray about it. But I got 5 years.
I agree with that.
So.
That's where I'm at.
Coaching, that'd be awesome.
That would be cool. So what about the next 50 years? No, I'm kidding.
Hopefully I'm married.
I won't be.
So being at Division II, I know y'all are in practices, games, traveling, but I know with going through college and psychology, it's all about getting your athletes not to get burnt out. So how do you kind of guys recharge yourselves, either after a away game, after a long travel, or even after a home game, and y'all are just kind of recharging after the game? How do you guys do that?
So that is a good question, because in my high school, we played a game 2 hours away, and I would dread it because that was so far away.
Yeah.
And you ask him, if we have a 2 hour game now, it's like,
thank God.
That's amazing. It's so short. I mean, we have a game in 2 weeks from now. It's going to be a 10-hour bus ride up. We're going to play, and then we'll be back 10 hours. So
Have fun with that.
It's a lot.
You're
It's
coming.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it's a lot of travel, but you love what you do, so you love it. Just to burn out, it's to find, and I've talked to Jabari about this, is to find something outside of basketball that you love to do that just relaxes your mind. For me and Jabari, we play guitar a lot, like trying to learn guitar some. I love to play golf once basketball season ends.
Okay.
So I'm going to go hit the links. Y'all want to go hit the links? We're going to hit the links.
All right. That might be a mistake, but I'll come out.
I've never played golf.
But I used to train with a dude that played in the NBA for a couple of seasons, and he played at Stanford, and he told me he would go play baseball after basketball at Stanford. And he was a freak athlete, so of course he could play baseball as a side hobby or something. But he would go play baseball, and he said he wouldn't touch basketball for 2 months. And he just and I've learned from, if you get burned out, you're not going to enjoy as much, and you're really not going to be as good as if you take a break and come back to it refreshed and ready to go. So
For sure. I'm probably the worst person to ask that question to. I'm going to be completely honest. I mean, I get burnt out like that. So, I mean, hopefully, no one sees that doesn't want to see that. But, I get burnt out super quick. So, I mean, I feel like the biggest thing is, like, you can get recharged off the court, of course, by, like, doing stuff like hobby and stuff like that. But just, like, the motivation you get from being on the court again, like, the next day is, like, that also, there's levels to that too, you know what I mean? So it's like, let's say you're kind of feeling low, then let's say you kind of think, oh, I don't want to practice hard today, I'm going to have a slow day. But then you come in, you see like everyone else putting in work, everyone else is like, because you can walk by the gym and you'll see 3 basketball players training, right? Yeah. So you're like, okay, well then I gotta do it too. And then you kind of get that like competitive spirit where it's like, okay, my boys are getting better. It's like, I gotta get better too. Yeah. And it's like, there's that comes back to the camaraderie and the chemistry you have with your team, right? So it's like, if we saw nobody in the gym training or ever working out, you'd want to be like, okay, I don't have to worry about it, right? Yeah. But it's like, you see like, older guys like Jabari, Carter, always getting work in, like we get work in with them too. It's like, we want to go be better. So I would say charging yourself just by like the love of the game. I mean, you gotta just like love what you do. Yeah. No matter. You have to love it. Yeah, you have to love it to be able to do it this long. Let me tell you, because if you didn't love it,
I agree.
At this level too, because in high school I would go into practice some days and I would just like mope around and take it off. It wouldn't matter. But I come into practice this year. I take the practice off and I'm getting scored on every time.
That's a big one.
So you can't take any practices off, especially at this level. And then again, I come here as a freshman, and in high school I was the hardest worker on my team. Yeah. And these guys are working twice as hard as I am.
Yeah, that's the crazy.
So it's getting to that level, and then again, it's having good older teammates who are willing to work with you to work on stuff. So, and I feel like I've had good older teammates this year. Yeah,
role
mentor me through
sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it's good to have like not just a team of young guys, but you have like a mixture.
Because we only have 4 freshmen.
Correct.
That means the other 11 of us are either juniors or seniors.
Yeah. We don't even have a sophomore on the team.
Yeah, and
they're all
juniors and seniors. Yeah. A lot of them come from all of them have played college basketball before.
Yes.
Some have been 5 places in 5 years. So it's like they've been all over the place. They've experienced all type of basketball. Yeah. It's like you get to learn a whole bunch of things about a whole different type of basketball.
And you do have to remember that sometimes as a freshman, not to get discouraged. To know that these dudes are been doing it for 3 years, and that they're also there to encourage you. So
it's a learning curve for
it's
sure.
A learning. It's been a lot of learning this year.
So to touch on that, like, how has it been for y'all? Like going from your collegiate and like high school, how was that transition from like high school to college for y'all? So far, I know that we're halfway through the season, 3 quarters.
Yeah, just 3 quarters probably. I would say. Go ahead.
I'll start. When I first got here, I remember we went to the open gym, and I started bringing the ball up the court, and our point guard, who's 5'9", the fastest dude I've ever met in my life, he just takes it from me. I dribble it up again. He takes it from me again. I dribble up again. He takes it from me again. They're all yelling at me. They're like, "Dude!" I'm like, I'm sorry, but just the speed of the game it's very fast. It's in high school I was like one of the 2 people on my team that could dunk the ball, and now like everyone on the team can dunk it like way higher than I can. Yeah. So I went from one of the best athletes on my high school team to one of the like lower level athletes at this level right now. So it's just a lot. And then like my body, when I first got here, I mean, my knees were killing me. My back was killing me. I mean, we're lifting weights 3 times a week. We're doing an hour and a half workout in the morning. We're having a 2-hour practice in the afternoon. I mean, it's a lot on your body. So you have to quickly adjust and figure out what you need for your body. Yeah. So it's a lot of adjusting physically and mentally.
Yeah. Just to piggyback off what he said, I mean, those first maybe 6 weeks, 7 weeks, your body's just, I mean, you're out of practice, you're like, now we can go through that 2-hour practice and it just feels normal, right? But I mean, those first 7 weeks, it's like, you're limping out of practice. It's like, and it's just, everything's so different, you know what I mean? Just even preparation, right? Like in high school, in high school was like, I could run in practice like 5 minutes before. Yeah. And it's like, I'm checked in, I'm good. Like I'll run through the whole practice, no problem. I can just coast. Yeah. But here it's like, you try and like, he touched on it earlier. It's you try and coast. It's like you're cooked. It's over. Yeah. You're getting the ball taken from you. Someone's yelling at you. You're running. It's like that's the biggest thing.
And they've been playing for so long. Guys know like they can see when you're not there. And they're gonna go at you because they're trying to fight for minutes and spots on the team. So they're gonna go at you. They see that you're not there today. They're gonna come at you every time.
It's a dog eat dog world. You know what I mean? It's like especially college basketball. It's like people are willing to kill to play. Yeah. And if you're in the way, it's like they're going to take you off with them.
Yeah. But I feel like from when we talk to athletes, it's kind of like the main thing. Everyone's fighting for that playing time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, if you're not on your game.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing from high school, too, is like, in high school, if you're a good basketball player, I mean, just speaking from experiences, like in high school, I played every game, no matter what happened, right? But it's, you come here, it's like, I'm not touching the court. You're not even, you're having to fight for reps in practice. It's like basically our practices, like our games are our practices. Right. You know what I mean? So you got to earn your stripes in practice. That hopefully will translate future times in the games. And then that's the biggest thing I would say is just transition from like having to not work hard and still get the reward to having to work hard and not get the reward. Yeah. So that's like the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's definitely been a tough challenge this year to be working as hard and not playing. You just got to remember where you are, what position you're in, being a freshman. And also, on top of everything that we've said about how the work I do, like having to go to class and keep up with schoolwork. And being a student, and then an athlete. So it's a lot of work. I've really enjoyed it so far, though, but it's definitely been the hardest I've worked in my life.
Hey, y'all picked up a really good win yesterday. Y'all even got to get on the court. Yeah, I was sitting there watching the game, and I'm like, we've won this game. Why isn't all these guys getting minutes? But they finally put y'all in the game, and the stands went nuts for one person.
Oh, I know. Yeah, the GOAT. So we call him the king.
So you guys briefly touched on this. How is it balancing basketball, and how is it balancing schoolwork?
And just life in general.
I'll go first on this one. So I would say I compared to high school.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because that's the only thing I've known so far. Yeah. So in high school, it was almost like it was catered to basketball, right? If you go to a smaller school or if you go to a school where basketball is a priority, it's like you're the priority, right? So one of the biggest things I would remember now is like in high school, if the game went later than maybe 10 o'clock or maybe 10, there's a certain time limit where if it was too late, the basketball team gets to go to school late the next day, but after lunch. So we got to go to school, late after lunch. You just have to make it before 11 o'clock. And that was it. Right here, it's like we got back to the day 3 a.m. I had 8 a.m. the next day. It's like that turnaround so quick. And it's like, and in high school again, just the biggest thing, like, even as like just regular students, right? It's like that there's no one to help you stay on top of your stuff. It's just you versus the school, right? So it's like you don't have your mom telling you what assignments to get on. You don't have teachers being like, "Hey, buddy, like you got this to do. Let's get this going." You don't have any grace period. Here, it's like you miss a deadline, they don't care. Yeah. You could be a superhero. They're like, it was due at Sunday at 11:59. Too bad. Yeah. So that's the biggest thing is like there's not a lot of leniency, but at the same time, Shorter's a great school, so they'll work with you to talk to professors and stuff like that. Biggest thing is just being being able to communicate well with your professors.
Yes.
That's the number one thing. And just being able to balance your work because, practice is only 2 hours and then you only have workouts for about an hour. So it's 3 hours of the day. You still have, 21 hours to get the schoolwork done and just be able to make it a class. Make the class the biggest one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I would piggyback off him a little bit too because my high school head coach was actually the head of the school at my high school. So if that gives you any idea of what we had as a team. I remember we made the state championship my junior year, and we literally didn't go to school for the entire week. So, I mean, it's definitely adjusting. I give my mom a lot of credit for making me be independent in high school. I hated it. I hated it for it at the time. She'd be like, pay for your own gas, get a job. You have to pay for all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's definitely helped prepare me for college a little bit. Same thing as he said, like, you got to talk to your professors. You got to talk to coach because you're going to miss stuff. Stuff's going to come up. And it's a tough balance, but you got to figure it out. I feel like I'm doing a good job of figuring it out, and I'm sure in 2 years I'll be like, I was doing a horrible job at that time of figuring it out. But comparatively to how I was at the beginning of the year, I wasn't sleeping very much because I was so busy. Now I figured out to get my sleep, which is very important.
Number one thing is sleep.
Gotta make sure you get your sleep. But yeah, it's just transitioning, being busy and figuring out your own schedule on your own, as he said. So.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's good.
We got like 1 or 2 more for him.
Yeah, I would say so.
We can go all night.
Hey.
I'm in no rush.
I don't know if the cameras can though. Okay, here. So, I mean, I think it was your turn, but I got it.
You go ahead.
How do you guys handle setbacks or challenges in basketball while keeping your faith strong? As you guys probably know that we are very faith-based.
Yeah, of course. You want to go?
Yeah. So the biggest challenge for me as a basketball player is definitely the mental side of it, and not getting. And this is something that I've talked to a lot of my older teammates about, which is a blessing to have good older teammates. It's not getting too high and too low because I'm to be honest, I'll come in after bad practice and it'll ruin my day until I practice again. And I'll come in after good practice and it makes me so like amazing. Just to find a balance to be kind of like. Practice ends. Once you're out of basketball, like practice each day, just to not forget about it, but to move on with your day and enjoy the rest of your day. Because basketball and all sports like this, it's up and down. You're never going to be. No one's ever been good enough. Even LeBron, he's never been good enough to be on a mountaintop the entire time.
Totally agree.
So just to have that balance, just to figure out like outside of basketball. Don't think about basketball because it will affect your day negatively. You know, it'll affect your family, people you're closest to if you're being negative about it and carrying that off the court with you. So,
for sure. I think one of the biggest setbacks I had so far was I was dealing with the injury when I first got here, and that was just because the physical goes to the mental, right? It all works together. So when your body's not feeling good, it's like the mental starts decaying. So it's like I had to get my physical right, especially with all the practice and stuff, strength training that we have. It's like that toll on your body, especially those, like I said earlier, those first few weeks it's terrible. I mean, just no way to sugarcoat it. It's just terrible. You just feel awful. You feel sick. You feel slow. You feel tired. But just being able to just know that you're not in control. God's in control. Just the biggest thing is to be able to stand on that and just know that no matter what happens, you're always going to have someone in your corner. And especially like I'll piggyback off what he said. It's like. Being able to have like good older leadership, like people on your team who have been in that situation time and time again, they can tell you exactly how you're going to feel before you even start feeling like that. And then he'll tell you how, and like some people will tell you how you feel even if you don't think you're feeling like that. And that's how you know you have good people around you. It's like, and just have good people who are your age who can hold you accountable. Like if I'm feeling low, I'll be able to have Lawson tell me, hey buddy, like pick your head up. There's one practice. Same thing with just that's everything in life though. You have people who can just hold you accountable, hold you up when you're down. That's the biggest thing, having people around you who can do that for you.
Yeah, that's really good.
The last one we had for y'all was like, do y'all have a favorite Bible verse y'all kind of hang on to that kind of motivates y'all, or just favorite Bible verse in general?
I'll say Proverbs 12:24. That was like I used to try and pick a yearly verse every year, and that was my yearly verse last year. It was like work hard and become. It was like be diligent. Let me try and find it. It was I don't know the exact KJV. Which Bible version do y'all use?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. I forget Shiloh's on King James version.
Yeah, so that was another big thing coming to the shorter. I only knew King James version, and then I don't know what they were reading in chapel one day. I was like, my Bible does not look like this.
I'll go ahead and go.
All right, go ahead.
This is more of our family verse, and for me, it's something I try to start every day with. Is Joshua 1:9. Something that my dad carried with him to his grave. Have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous, do not be frightened and do not dismay, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. That's just something that like to start your day with truth like that, to know that God's gonna be with you, because it's gonna be tough. That's just how life is. Like, we don't live in a perfect world. Like, God, like, Satan's gonna send armies to harm our days.
Yeah.
But to know that God's with us when I'm having a bad practice, you know, when I'm missing assignments, you know, when my mom calls me yelling at me. You know?
I got you.
I need the Lord for that even.
That's the biggest thing with mom.
But just to know that He's with you throughout your day is really encouraging to me, you know, to keep me from going down in the pit, and also from being too high on myself personally. So.
Yeah, I would say mine, going back to Proverbs 12:24. I got an NLT here for you guys.
Perfect.
It's work hard and become a leader, be lazy and become a slave. That was the one I picked last. That was the one last year. It was just because, you know, a lot of people like to, you know, be mediocrity is a big thing in our time now. So it's like everyone wants to be just normal, everyone wants to be average, and I wanted to, you know, set myself apart. I wanted to go play college basketball and not just be a high school basketball player. So I knew if I put the work in, God would, you know, the fruits of my labor would just come out on top. So that was the reason I picked that one.
Hey, it's worked so far for y'all.
I know, right?
Hey, I hope y'all get some more playing time. Do you have any questions for us? We've added this pretty recently because most of the athletes that we've interviewed, they want to ask us questions at the end, so we thought we would just throw it in there. Are there any questions for us? No worries if you don't.
I could think of one.
All right.
Okay. What's your guys' handle on Instagram, and what's your guys' ass on YouTube?
It should be Keaton and Taylor's show, a podcast on Instagram. It's one of the two.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And then Keaton and Taylor's show on YouTube also.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Go get them. Go look that up now.
We're working on it. But, yeah, if you don't have anything for us, we'll just go ahead and pray over y'all, and we'll call it right there.
Let's do it.
All right, dear God, thank you for this day.
Thank you for having Lawson and Aiden on today. And just keep them safe, and, you know, whatever your will is with them in basketball, just kind of give them the knowledge and everything that they need, and just keep over them while they're being student athletes here at Shorter. And amen.
Amen.
So thank you all again.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Hopefully we can get the older guys on here next time.
Yeah,
yes,
awesome.
sir.
Tell the team. We'll gladly interview them.
We'll do it.
All right.